Time for another Dirt Daily, and today I am frustrated with the Ford. I got the Ford inside, which was kind of a boondoggle. Well, let me back up a little bit. This is a 1993 Ford F350 that I bought for this front axle, which is a high pinion Dana 60, which is a pretty popular axle, pretty strong axle. This one is, however, a ball joint front end. So not maybe the holy grail, but still a pretty valuable cookie when it comes to cookies. However, this truck has a 460 automatic and it's four-wheel drive, crew cab, long bed, and it doesn't seem to run. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll just get it home, pull the front axle, and maybe I can find somebody that needs the rest of the truck. Then I talked to my buddy Dave, and he's like, you know what? You probably shouldn't take the truck apart. These old body style Fords are getting pretty popular. You'll probably find somebody that just wants the whole truck as it is. Maybe I should try and make it run. So today I decided to get it into the shop up on the lift, which was a total debacle. I had to use my 4Runner here to winch it in this door, but it wasn't right in front of the door. It was kind of like around the corner. So I had to use my other Chevy truck to kind of drag it out into the street. You can imagine my neighbor's delight when they came home and there's this crew cab long bed across the street with a bunch of winch lines and another Chevy truck and me running around like crazy trying to get this dead beast into the shop. But that was just half of the struggle. So we got it in, no problem. I mean, we being I got it in. It's kind of like building a pyramid. You're dragging these big heavy blocks around. But now it's in, I got it in up on the lift, and I decided that I was gonna check out getting the bed off. And so if you look underneath the bed here, I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it, but there's some bolts that are up inside the chassis here. You can just get to the nuts on the bottom, and they're not straight down either. You have to get a wobble on it. So you have to get a heavy duty 1/2-inch drive wobble onto your socket, onto your ratchet. And of course, those bolts are like carriage bolts, and you can't really grab the top of them at all, but they are like a square that pegs down into the bed. Guess what? They started spinning. So that means that when I'm trying to break and loose, the bolt's just spinning, and I don't have anybody that can get up on top and hold them because there's nothing to hold up there. So the next step is, do I weld something to the top of the carriage bolt so that I can grab onto it and then break the bolt loose so that I can get the bed off? And this is all so that I can get to this tank, because the fuel pump is up inside here and the truck doesn't seem to be running because it's not getting any fuel. And I've already run my power probe to these wires here. I'm getting power to the wires. The pump's not running. If I hot wire it, if I jump power straight to the wires, the pump is not running. I think I have a pretty good ground because my fuel sender gauge is working. So that tells me that there's a ground there, because you can't usually have a fuel sender gauge without a positive or a strong ground. So unfortunately, the fuel pump seems to be the culprit, and it's in this tank. So the next step is probably to drop the tank or start welding a bunch of junk to the carriage bolts to try and get the bolts out so I can get the bed off. But then I need to get all new bolts to put it all back together. And at the end of the day, I really wasn't planning on investing that much in this truck. Oh, and there's another tank in the way back there above the spare tire that is also not working. And I've had people say, well, it's probably the little toggle switch in between the two. I can flip that switch. I can get power to both lines. So I feel like it's definitely the pumps. The truck's still for sale. I have a couple people that are interested in it. I don't really feel like working on it today anymore, but you know, that's how it is some days. You just get frustrated with your projects. It doesn't mean you don't like your projects. It just means you don't like your project today. Maybe tomorrow, the Ford and I will be friends again. That's it for this Dirt Daily. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Fred, and this is my Ford that I'm frustrated with.